Hey YouTube, I know it's been quite a while since my last video, but you'll be glad to know I'm still alive. Or perhaps not, but either way, I'm still on the quest for the most balanced and hi-fi sounding speaker, whether it be in earbud form or speaker form. Now I know a lot of you are still asking about the Motion Plus, but I am actually having trouble updating to the newest firmware 36.38, I believe. I'm stuck on 35.38, and I did actually develop some really nice settings for 35.38, but I'm not sure if it's worth releasing them, considering the new firmware might just update the sound signature or something. But do let me know if you're having trouble too updating to the newest firmware and want me to release the 35.38 settings. Anyway, this video is going to be about the Jaybird Freedom or Jaybird F5s, and it is a really, really nice sounding earphone, which I probably listen to every day. I'm going to include my EQ settings, but first I did want to talk about a few things that you should know. Now, this black pair I actually bought used from Amazon Warehouse, and I did actually go through a few pairs on Warehouse before I got a good sounding pair. The problem is when people buy used things and return it, there might be a reason for that. For example, I went through some pairs where the sound was honky, one side was louder than the other, maybe it was out of sync or something, or just didn't sound good. Luckily, this pair is a really nice pair, but I do actually think it's an odd pair. It sounds very different to the normal pair. And by normal, I mean the newer pairs. So if you buy a newer pair, maybe now or maybe one of the older pairs you has the same sound as this, it works really well with an EQ I've developed. And if you do buy a new pair, I do think my EQ settings will work really well. Something important to mention is you do need to use the stock foamy tips for the settings I'm going to show you. I've tried a bunch of other tips, but they just don't work well, even if you try to equalize them. For example, it came with the stock silicone tips, and I just found they don't work very well. So make sure you get the stock foamy tips, not any other foamies, but the stock foamies. One more thing to mention is that it's so nice how it embeds the settings into the speakers. That's actually my favorite thing about it, similar to the Anchor Motion Plus, because if I'm like using it with my computer or something, I can still have that nice balanced hi-fi EQ that I've set. So now going into the settings, I'm going to load the Jaybird Freedom app. So I actually have two settings here. As I mentioned earlier, the red pair is one of the newer pairs, and most of the newer pairs seem to sound like this. I would advise you to wait for the price to drop before you get a new pair. For example, I got mine for about £30 because most of the time it can be quite expensive, but if you kind of just wait, for that Amazon algorithm to try and get rid of a few pairs, you can get it quite cheap. Also on Warehouse it's quite cheap, but you've got to be wary, as I mentioned before. So this pair, this EQ shown here, Mr. Cow Jaybird Freedom, is for the new pairs, or I'd say most pairs really. And here are the settings. Now it is a fully parametric equalizer, so I know it's going to be hard to emulate this, but I have actually shared it on the app, so you should be able to find it. So I'm just going to show you, for example, if I go to Discover and then Search and type in Mr. Cow, you can see it's come up with two. Now, you want to look at the top one. The second one, alternative, is for this black pair, but I found there's no pair that really sounds like this. Somehow it does maybe even sound nicer than most pairs, but I don't think any other pair or many pairs will sound like that. So the one you really want to look at is the top one. And you can just see I've actually marked it for all genres because, I believe like a nice balanced hi-fi sound suits all genres. And I've put in the description for stock foamies. Now, I do think these sound so nice with this EQ, and you should definitely try it out. And please let me know what you think about it in the comments below. Finally, I've actually got the newer, maybe not new, Stormbox Micro by Tribit. I've got two of them, and if you want to hear about those, I can release a video, maybe compare it to the Mini-Rig Mini 2s, either in like one unit or stereo pair. And my main priority is to get back with those anchor settings, so I will keep you updated as soon as I can get that firmware update complete. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video and have a lovely day.